Listen, are you sometimes just being too hard on yourself? Even though you've been through things, you've been through so much difficult stuff in your life that it really doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense for you to be so hard on yourself, and yet we do it anyway, right? That is just this classic trauma survivor stuff. That's what we do. We don't give ourselves the credit that we deserve. We don't give just the credit to the depth of our own experience. We don't give ourselves not only the understanding the depth of struggle and pain, but also the understanding of what you have overcome, of what you have achieved, despite the horrible, nasty things that you might have experienced in your life as a trauma survivor. And so we think of ourselves as helpless sometimes, or useless, or whatever, but there's oftentimes this word less, right? We think less of ourselves. Isn't it true? Well, I think it's time that we flip that around. We flipped around to think that make it about more. Because your traumatic experience didn't make you any less of a person, despite the impact that it might have had or might still be having on your life. And by the way, I'm here to honor your feelings and honor your journey through life. But I think it's still vital to give yourself the credit and the acknowledgement of your resilience, of the things that you have overcome, the things that you live with your contribution and your spirit out in the world, in your family, in your work, with your loved ones. The things sometimes that you might be struggling with every day that other people, they don't even see, don't even acknowledge. That's why it's so vital to move from the lesser person that we sometimes think of ourselves because of our trauma, and move to feeling the greater person. Flipping our story of trauma to feel that you are more. You are more of all the things that you know how to do, that you have overcome, that you have the strength of, that you can do despite the hurts that you might have experienced. And I think it begins with the acknowledging the impact of trauma it had on your life, but also the possibilities to move towards healing. I think there's really three simple considerations that really come up for us. Well, I really want to just bring them up. Just three considerations just to bring into the context of the impact, because sometimes we have difficult experience in our lives and we ourselves don't really have the connection with the impact it's had on ourselves. So it's hard to put it into context. So I just want to take a moment to do this real quick and ask you three simple questions. One, has what happened in your life, maybe a traumatic event or series of traumatic events or experiences, is it interrupting the natural flow of life? Is interrupting the natural flow of life? Because that's really what trauma is when it really gets in the way of you living the life that you want to live. You know, for me, it's this memory of going through rape as a child. It's paralyzed me in my life, in my experiences, in the way that I see myself. I mean, I was terrified of being alone, but I was terrified of meeting someone because I was terrified of not being able to have sex because that's all of those things that I've experienced and lived with. They've been tough and just been weighing so heavy on me. Has your experience of flow of life, how has that been impacted? Or do you feel like it's been interrupted? Because if it has, that's really a good indicator that maybe it's time to explore other ways, that things that can help you to feel more about who you are and where you're going. The second question is, I mean, is it sustainable in keeping things as they are? Because sometimes we all go through difficult events in life and through trauma and through like just tough things, and we find ways to cope. We find ways to survive, and that's vital. Right? That's necessary. There's no getting around that. Right? That's crucial. That's what we want to be doing. That's how we protect ourselves. That's how we get to live on. But sometimes the question is like, is it sustainable? For me, I noticed that, particularly in my 20s, when I found myself, miserable, alone, and I was just scared to go out, and I found that, I had so much anger and frustration built out in fear of the world, of people. And I had all of this kind of, all these crazy panic attacks and anxiety that it was just getting out of control. It was really like just I was afraid of like what would happen, if I kept going like this. There's no way to live. And something that helped me to go and try to get a better handle on things. It took a long time. I'm not saying there's any. I'm certainly not saying. I know I've got a lived experience here, but I'm not here to talk about any quick fixes in life. But I'm here to talk about just the reality of it, that acknowledging sometimes. I mean, can we keep it going? I mean, is it sustainable realistically? Or will things get worse or more difficult? Or is it even worth it in some way? So that's one thing to consider. How has your life been impacted by your trauma? And the third thing is, and this is what we don't often think about, but I think this is the most vital point of all when it comes to trauma, because we often think about dealing with the fallout of difficult events. But here, this is a big one, my friend. I cannot build this up enough, but this is a big one. Is what possibilities would open or present themselves if you were able to heal more? What things what dreams could you have? What impact could you make? What connections could you create? What feelings could you experience at so much greater intensity and depth, like positive feelings? What new experience could you have in life that this traumatic events has prevented you from doing the impact that it's had? What has it prevented you from, like the good things, the things that might be fun, the things that you might really love, the things you might really enjoy and get behind? What has your trauma prevented you from doing? I think that's such a vital understanding, because I only learned this from my personal experience of, going on my healing journey, which I'm still on, obviously, but going through my experience of finding a greater sense of connection, understanding my own story, connecting with other people who've been through traumatic events, doing therapy in a way that was really helpful and is supportive for me right now. That helped me to really get on top of things so much more. It's just allowed me to feel so much more calm. It allowed me to be more present with my family. It's allowed me to feel less angry. It allows me to feel more excited about life, what I'm doing in this podcast. And I have so many plans and ideas and dreams. I'm writing this beautiful play right now about an experience of going through trauma, that universal experience, and helping us reconnect with parts of ourselves that may have been buried or lost or disengaged. I'm going to be best in the world at that, my friend. That play. Oh, I hope you see it someday soon, because it's life-changing. It's my big dream. But I never would have had any of those dreams had I not taken more steps on my journey towards healing. So for you, maybe it's time to take the next step on the healing journey. I can decide that for you. And I'm not here to tell you where you should do this or that. But I just know that how the difference it made in my life. So I'm just putting it out there for you, my friend. All I'm saying is, I know only you can decide, but maybe that next step could really serve you. That's what I want for you. That's what I want for you, to have that greater hope in your life. Hope, because hope, ultimately, that's what hope is. Hope is opening the door to possibility. A possibility of something greater in life. Moving forward. So what can help us? What can help us on the next step towards healing? I want to share a simple way of thinking about it. At least that's how I think about it. It might serve you, support you in some way. I'm going to quickly run through it, and I call this C3T. I hope this serves you, my friend. I hope this supports you. Just some quick ideas in the simple framework. And the first one is this: compassion. Do you spend time being kind to yourself, saying good things to yourself, acknowledging your own experience? Because so often in life, we don't get to talk to ourselves. Or if we do, it's something demeaning. Oh, I'm not good at this. Or why bother with that? Why even try? Or, they're so much better. I'm nothing. I'm worthless. We've all been there, my friend. I know what it's like. And yet these are the things that you'd never say. You'd never say this to a child, would you? You wouldn't. And yet we say this sometimes and treat us, our own selves, the ones that have already been hurt, we treat them so much more harshly than we do deserve. That's why I want to say, how can you show more greater compassion to yourself? Just in your daily life. Maybe it's what you do in how you go about your day. Maybe it's how you connect with others. What is it that can help you, serve you, support you, help you move forward? Compassion. Experiencing and practicing more compassion towards yourself. Maybe journaling about your experience. Just taking 2-3 minutes a day to journal about what things mean to you, what you liked about today, what are you looking forward to. Some simple things like that can help us. I know that's what I'm doing. I'm journaling every single morning when I'm having my cup of coffee to just write about good things that happened yesterday. And they're not great, they're not some huge things, huge accomplishments, but playing with my kid, or just having a great conversation with my wife, or working on my play. It's maybe other people it's nothing to them, but it's a big deal to me. So that's what I write about. What can you reflect on that might make you feel good about yourself, because you deserve that. That's a simple fact. Next one, creativity. I think when I talk about creativity, I don't mean that you gotta be doing painting or doing some kind of fine arts. But we all have passions, hobbies, things, activities that light you up, that excite you, that you might not be doing as much as you'd like because you're busy and life gets in the way. But what could make you feel like you're expressing yourself in a way that makes sense to you? Maybe it's you're doing something around the home. Maybe it's the particular thing you do in your work. Maybe it's spending more time with someone you love. Maybe it's doing something like volunteering in your community or being part of a group. I don't know what that is for you, but you probably do, because when we get to do and feel more creative. We feel that we are moving forward. We feel that we are having a great expression of ourselves. We feel that we are doing something that is fun, that maybe we get in touch with something that is greater than ourselves. Well, true self, that is what it's about. Allowing yourself to express your true, authentic self. What helps you do that? What helps you to bring that out in the world so much more? Next point, my friend, connectedness. And there's several dimensions of this. I'll quickly run through it, but I think connectedness, first of all, connectedness to your own story, to your own experience. Because sometimes in life, we lose connection with that. What do things really mean? How do things stand? How do things work out? Sometimes we forget, what do things really mean for you and your way of life? How does it work? What does it mean? I think it's so important, my friend, to find more ways to feel connected to your own story, to share your story with others, or just share your daily experience. It doesn't have to be bludgeoning out your story, but maybe sharing more of your true, authentic thoughts and experiences, what you really think, what you really feel, what you believe in, sharing that with people more, because I know that's hard. That's such a courageous thing to do for yourself. Because when you share the way that you truly feel, because when you share like what you really think about something, like what bothers you, or what you want to change, or you get to get that greater connection, not only with yourself, but the world around you, because you live in your truth. And when you do that with other people, oftentimes you get to experience that sense of connection, because it doesn't happen so much when we talk about insignificant things like the weather. It really happens when we talk about something that is authentic and real. It doesn't have to be something huge, but just something that matters to you in some way. That's when we get to experience connection. Is that something that there's an opportunity that you could do more of in your life right now? To share more of you. Whether other people like it or not, but sharing more of yourself. And last but not least is therapy. Having that experience of doing something that serves you, that helps you heal. And maybe you haven't had, I know I haven't, I know many other my friends and people I know who haven't had the greatest experience. Having the first touch point, or even right now, or having someone who supports you, whether it's a counselor, whether it's a psychologist, whether it's a psychiatrist, whatever that might be. But it's so vital, because when you find, I know that I'm just speaking from experience here, finding the person who gets me, who helps me, who supports me on my journey, not like doing things to me, but helping me do things that truly matter to me, has been absolutely transformative. Because when you take into account the story of your life, my friend, and how sometimes we think less of ourselves, your experiences make you so much more than sometimes we think. Aren't we all, my friend, capable of so much more than we think? In our ability to give our best, to grow into the life that we want, to heal from trauma. I hope you can find more ways to be more compassionate towards yourself and the experiences that you've had in life and might be having right now. I hope that you can find more ways to express yourself and be creative in a way that feels true to you, that feels like you're being your authentic self. I hope that you get to share more of you with other people. Share your story, your thoughts, your ideas, your feelings. Because sharing even just a little bit more. That's what creates connection. That's what creates empathy. That's what helps us to feel. People get us. It's not talking about, things that you may not even care about. It's those little moments that can make all the difference when you feel understood. That's real. And therapy. I hope that maybe you're in a good place when it comes to healing and potentially trying or be in a place where you feel as someone who gets you, someone who helps you to move forward, someone who helps you heal. Because I think that's a crucial and vital part of our lives when you've been through trauma. My name is Joe Bakhmutsky, my friend. As you know, I'm a proud author of this book, Finding Hope in Times of Uncertainty, a guide to thriving in a challenging world of today. And I believe that we all have this power to be happy, to seek greater clarity in things that we do, to show up at our best every single day. Because you know you're enough. To hold on to hope. No matter what happens, what changes might come into your life, and the impact that had on your experience. Things can. They do. They can and do change for the better, my friend. That's the hope. I'm here for you. If you want to find out more and connect, please go to powertobehappy.com. And I'd love for you to take a moment and give me a review for this podcast. Because that really matters, believe it or not. Thank you for being here. And for more, connect on powertobehappy.com. My name is Joe Bakhmutsky, and I'm so grateful to have you here with me right now.